And we should be charging now. We're charging! Slowly but surely. Hello everyone, Thranxes here, and welcome to Stationeers, brought to us by RocketWerkz Ltd. This will be a new first impression series on my channel of a game that is a survival sandbox game in space, but it is very incredibly technically involved and deep. Now, I was just going to jump into this game blind, but as the first couple attempts proved, you can't do that with this game. So this series, while it is going to be a first impressions, is going to very much be sort of a how-to. How to get started and, of course, how to do a few things. I'm not sure how many episodes this series will go for. We'll play that by ear. But just be advised, this episode is the result of much work and trial and error. Alright, so here we are. We have started. The sun is rising. It looks like all of our materials are here. Okay, so this is interesting. Normally when you start, the sun has only just started to rise. Let's start by locking our mask and turning our light off. In our suit, we're going to put our duct tape in our backpack. Okay, so the first thing you need to know when you start is that you're up against a time limit, and that time limit is how much the battery in your life support can sustain. Now, it's a large battery, it'll last a while, but it won't last forever, so we need to get started. The first thing you're going to need are the iron frames out of the construction supplies 1 box. Now let's get a little bit of the terrain. There's kind of a pit there. Some ore over there. That looks like another pit. So we're kind of looking for a flat area for our base. But it doesn't have to be. It's going to eventually get large, so we're going to want a lot of room for expansion. There we have a kind of a crater. I think up here is going to be good. Okay, so here's what we can do. So we're going to put down these frames here. We're going to make ourselves a little room here. Just like this. Now the airlock to get in is actually going to be here. And the airlock needs to have kind of frames on both sides of it. There we go. Probably should do the airlock there, right? That would make more sense. Okay, so if you put down panels that you don't want, you pull them up with the grinder, I believe. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we want to deconstruct this iron frame and this one here, and as long as you have it in your other hand, it goes straight to your inventory. Very, very good. Now we're going to get back to placing our frames, because now we're going to need a ceiling for all of these tiles, and that's what these frames are going to be. Hold on, and let's see. Okay, so when we start to get the frames up, you'll notice they don't do much to keep you in good shape. Let's see, we'll probably put a frame here, and then we'll switch to our grinder, and we'll grind up this one here. And we'll put this frame back, and then we're going to put one here. Okay. Now, the next thing you need to do once you get your frames in order is you need to grab your welding tool in one hand, and out of the same box with construction tools 1. Nope, those are consumables. Construction supplies 1. We need the iron sheets. So once you have your iron frames in place, you've got to have the torch in one hand and your iron sheets in another, and then you have to turn your torch on, which you can use O or R to go through the menu, and then you need to weld each frame twice to get it in good shape. Now, one of the things that we're going to do is we're actually going to rush the ceiling because we need to get a solar panel up. so that we can start charging our life support battery long before the base is complete. There we go. Just going to keep grinding everything, or welding everything together. There we go. Okay, excellent. Now, for now, we're going to go ahead and put this tool back. We're going to go back to our Construction Tools 1 kit, and you need 1 solar panel and some glass sheets. Okay, J activates your jetpack. There you go, and then make sure you turn it off so you don't consume your fuel up, and the solar panel will go right here. And the glass will go like that, boom, and it is, looks like the sun is sort of rotating that way, so we're getting some power, Okay, it's not wired up to anything yet, though. Oof, that was careful. Low gravity, but you can still get hurt. Okay, for now, what we're going to do, actually, let's go ahead and put these back, is we're going to take the... okay, so we're going to switch belts. So you need to get the belt out of your backpack, hold down the 5 button, and then put your tool belt back on the backpack. So that on your mineral processing tool belt, you can take your drill, and then same thing, you're going to need to make sure that you turn it on. And we're going to need to get coal, and we're going to need to get iron, and we're going to need to get copper. The coal is so that we can run a generator and actually burn the coal when the sun is down, as that absolutely will be a thing that we need to do. So let's make sure we get a good bit of coal. Excellent. Now, before we lose our sunlight, which is happening quickly, we need to find some iron and some copper. And hopefully they're not anywhere far away. Oh, wait, there's some right over here. What is this? And this we have is iron. Okay, good. We're going to need a lot of iron, so let's go ahead and dig this up pretty good. At this point, I think it's safe to say we can put our light back on. And we're just going to dig around to get more iron. Lots and lots of iron. Okay, that's probably good to get started. Now let's go find some copper. So we make sure we can dig our way out. Oof. And all right, now we need to find copper, but the shadows are starting. That's going to make traveling difficult. Now there's a lot of little craters and some straight up pits, so you need to be careful just walking around at night or in the shadows. Basically, you need to be very careful. Things can spiral out of control quickly. There's more iron. Let's make sure we have visibility on our base. What do we have here? Some oxite, I think. Yeah. Okay, that's good. We're gonna mine some of that. Oxite is a great little particle that you can use to get oxygen. If you end up needing to pressurize an area, you can just let the oxide evaporate into oxygen, which is pretty cool. So we're going to get some of that because you never know when you need some of that on you. And then over here we have more coal. Lead. Interesting. What do we have here? Gold. Not really what we were looking for, but we're going to grab some anyways. Gold is needed for certain electronics, which again we're not going to need right off the bat. We're actually going to need copper before we need gold, but it never hurts to get some. Now, one of the things that I learned about doing this is to always leave a little bit of ore exposed. Don't mine it all up. That way when you come back by and you're like, oh, what was this deposit? You can see that it was gold because it will likely continue underneath the surface. as you keep digging. All right, and we're going to get rid of this oxide. We're just going to let it evaporate. Which it's not doing, but it should be, which is fine. Now, let's look around for copper. Oh, there's something down there. Maybe not. All right, there's our base. It's still within sight. We haven't crossed over the horizon yet. Very important. Trying to find copper that is close by. What do we have over here? More gold. Okay. And this is some kind of dead end. All right, well, we're going to dig up through this just to see where it takes us. Or not. Okay, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll be going back out the way we came. Hopefully. Okay, woo, that was a little scary. All right, more iron, and let's see, maybe this is copper, this would be silicon. Also important, we're going to need some of this. Might as well grab it now while we're here. Again, we're going to remember to leave some exposed so we know what's there when we come back. All right. Oh, what do we have here? Volatiles. I don't know if I want to dig those up necessarily. And this is going to be more silicon. More silicon. The copper sort of looks like the gold. It's infused with other metals, and so it sort of looks the same as gold until you get up on it and realize it doesn't have that shiny gold color mixed into it. More silicon and a pit. Let's be careful of that. Iron, coal, iron, lots of iron and coal. I do like that. Let's avoid this crater. Well, or we'll go down into this crater anyways. As long as there's no pits in it, it's fine. All right, we have more coal. Oof, lots and lots of coal. Whoa. I was like, what's going on over there? That's a little scary. Okay, and if we go down in here. All right, a lot of nothing. Wow, they're going to make us work for the copper. That's a little concerning because we're supposed to be a little further ahead than we are now. In fact, we're going to have to abandon the search for copper for the time being. We're going to have to do it during the daylight. Yep, okay, let's turn off our drill. We're not really using it anyways. Put it back on our belt. Okay, now for this section, let's go ahead and swap back to our tool belt. And we'll put our ore belt back on our backpack there. Now what we need is, let's see, an arc furnace and an auto lathe. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the auto lathe we're going to go ahead and put right here. Like this, right? And the arc furnace needs to feed, we want it to feed directly into the auto lathe so that as we're melting supplies, they are in fact being thrown straight into the auto lathe. And of course, everything is too close to the wall, so we're going to have to back it off a little bit. So we'll put this here, yep, and then same thing with the auto lathe. We're going to move it here. So that the doors line up, which they do not. We're a little off. Let's try that, and the doors line up. Wonderful. And nothing is going to be inside the base. Even more wonderful. Okay. Now, we have to start wiring things together, which the wiring can take a little bit of time to figure out. It's not the most difficult. There are just a lot of buttons and configurations, but basically, so we have power and data, and we want them on the same line. And then it's the same with this. We have power on one side and we have data on the other, and we want both. So that way, if we ever mount them to a console, we can interact with them. All right, so here we're going to need this three-way junction again, and then the same here.
Low pressure.
Low pressure. Life support battery is high. Air tank is good. Propellant is good. I'm not sure what we had low pressure for. Yikes, that's a little scary. We're supposed to have at least one day-night cycle. All right, these things are wired together, but of course, they have no power. As you can see, they're not doing a thing. So actually, let's go ahead and pull up one of these frames with the grinder tool here. Boom. And then we'll actually put this frame right here. And now we just need to reinforce it with our welder. And we'll grab our iron sheets. Yep, very good. Okay, and we kick the torch on. This might work. The next thing we need is going to be this solid generator, which will allow us to burn coal for power. Which early on, it's incredibly necessary. But what we need is sort of a power controller. I don't know if we're going to have enough room. All right, we'll try it anyways. And we need the wires. Okay, so for the wiring, here, let's put these sheets down for now because we're going to need wire cutters as well. So this is going to be a challenge, and I think the best way to do it is going to be to put this wire around the other side here. Because what we want is the very same thing. We want the power and the data connected. And for this one, we're going to need a junction like this. And straight like this. This is good. The sun is coming up, so we're going to get power soon, and we need to work on our solar panel to get the battery charger going. But what we're going to need actually is this. We're going to need a power controller because the generator is not a constant source of power. We don't need that empty battery. We need this power controller. And the whole purpose of the power controller is to take in power and data and give power out at a regulated rate. All right, let's go ahead and put down this power controller. We don't need it. What we do need are the wire cutter tools. There we go. Destroy the junction, and then what we need is actually a four-way junction. Just like that. Okay, now your power controller is actually not ready to go as is. You need to open it with a crowbar and switch it to on. And you can put a battery in there if you want it to store power, but we're just not there yet. Now we should be able to get some power and start producing some things. So let's go ahead and switch off of our belt here. And, well, we also need to start charging our battery. Yeah, hold on. Before we do all of that, before we put our mining belt on, actually, let's just throw our mining belt down for now. What we need, iron wall kits. There we go. Okay. So the battery charger should be docked onto a wall, and that's sort of what we're going to do here. We're going to build a wall and a wall. And then, yep, just like this, we're going to go all the way around. Walls all the way around. And then, wait, the airlock is over there, right? Okay, that's where it's going to go. Build the walls like this. That's good for now. It's a little bit of a maze. It's a little maze-like, but that's okay. The most important thing is the iron sheets go up on the walls without a tool. You just snap the iron plate right onto the wall, just like that. That solar panel is just starting to get the good power because it's tilted at 50%, so it's just pretty much flat up. Just like that, and okay, that's good. Now we need our battery charger. Let's, if we can navigate these dangerous frames. So what we need is, what, an empty battery, and actually the battery charger would be in construction supplies too, if I recall. There we go, battery cell charger. So we're going to get one of these over here while we have this solar power, and we're going to have to wire the solar power into all of this. And of course, I made it now incredibly difficult to get into our structure because of all the frames. There we go. So I think we'll put the battery charger here. No, we'll probably just put it here, which will be sort of next to the airlock. All right, battery charger and empty battery we'll put right there. Now back to the wiring. Now again, what we want are for these sections here to be wired together. So we're going to build a corner piece and then a junction. There we go, like that. Okay, we should be able to see these wires on the other side of the wall. Yep, which is wired up into our device there. And now we're going to come up here and get the solar panel going. About, ooh. Careful, careful. All right, let's turn off our jetpack. And we're just going to wire these up because they need to be part of the same thing. Like this, and then we'll go a straight piece there. Straight, straight, straight. This one's going to be a junction. Straight, and we're going to get our other power controller right here. And put our jetpack back on. There we go. Now there will be another frame here, so we can't just wire down there like that. Ooh, we should turn our light off again while we have the sunlight. Yep, generating a lot of wattage. Let's get our power controller back online. So again, you need data and power running here, and I think it would be easier just to do it like that. So again, anytime you need to tear up the wires, as long as you have wires in your other hand, it'll just add them to it. There we go, cable junction. And now straight and straight. Huh. what we need is for it to curve down. As I said, these controls can take a little bit of time. Oof, again, gotta be careful. I'm gonna rip my suit one of these times doing that if I'm not careful. What we need is a straight piece, yep, that is oriented up and down, and then we'll keep wiring it and keep wiring it, wiring. Okay, from here, we can go ahead and put this one like this, but for this piece, we're going to have to change it to a four-way junction. There you go. All right, it should be charging as long as we turn it on. We should be getting some power to it. On and none. No, because the power controller isn't turned on. So again, you need to make sure you have your crowbar in your hand, crack open your cover, and then switch the switch to on. And then I think what I just did was, I think I just, yep, deconstructed this wall here. All right, we'll kick off the jetpack, and we should be charging now. We're charging, slowly but surely, and the sun's about to go away. But that's okay, we are charging our battery for our life support battery, which is now down to medium. So okay, so that is the first milestone. If you can get your power going to your battery charger, you'll be in good shape. However, we still have this issue here, which is we want all of this stuff to sort of be on the same network. And I think what we need is a junction, right? Followed by a straight, followed by a corner, and then another straight. And then this one would be a corner. Look at that. That is 30 cables that you start with exactly. Okay. That's really good. I can't believe it worked out like that. All right, so now we're completely out of cable, but it's time to start using our machines here that we've set up so well. So the first thing is we're going to put our mining belt on and put our tool belt in our backpack. So we're going to put coal in there. We're going to put iron in there. Now here's how this is going to work. We're going to turn on the generator once there's coal in it. Boom, now we have power. So now we can turn on the auto furnace, crush the coal, and it should go through all 50 grams of coal, or not coal, iron. It's going to smelt 50 grams of iron, and then it's going to kick that iron out of its export door and into the auto lathe. Right, there's no battery here to help mitigate the power spikes. So as the generator spikes and it will stop, it won't therefore smelt everything. What we can do is we can turn on the auto lathe though now that we have some iron in it, 18 grams, and we can actually start knocking out iron frames. No, not iron frames, iron sheets, right. Okay, we got a couple iron sheets. Let's go ahead and start constructing our walls. And I believe we have more iron sheets now. Let's go ahead and grab our sheets. Yep, there we go. And we're just going to put together all of our walls so we know where everything is and what still needs a frame. Because we are going to have to make frames. Okay. So far, so good. I believe we're doing quite well enough anyways. We should continue smelting this. As long as that coal is burning. We want to keep smelting all of this iron. Now, if we had a battery inside of this, it would even out the... Oh, you know what we can do? We're not going to use the tablet for a second. We can take the battery out of our tablet. There we go. And then we can... So we got to put the tool belt back on. In the tool belt, we can have our crowbar, right? So let's drop our mining belt, take the crowbar, pop this up, and then put a battery in there, and boom. Now we have more stable control. We don't really need the tablet right now anyways, and we can effectively run our power non-stop. Let's just throw our tool belt down right here. Boom, and now this is open, so we want to make more iron sheets. Now, when you have non-stop power due to a battery or something that's helping you mitigate your power demand, the auto lathe will absolutely just keep going until you tell it to stop. So make sure that you tell it to stop once you have enough of what you're looking for. Because the real thing we're going to need are these iron frames, and they are a bit more expensive. So we want to make sure we save our iron for that. All right, and we're going to start placing our iron frames now. Which, let's see, we can start with, we're going to need one here. We'll go get our next one. Those are iron walls. Right, frames. 3, 4 is probably good for now. Let's turn this off, and let's turn... No, we're not going to turn that off yet, not while we have power. Instead, let's smelt our gold. Not powered. Okay, we've burned up all of our coal. That's fine. That is quite all right. So we're just going to go around and place frames and see what we do and do not have enough for here. All right, I think we can safely drop our ore belt and go back to the tool belt. Pull out the welder and start welding some frames together. Now, your first base, you might want to do a little smaller than this. It's maybe. I know what I wanted for a size, and so that's what I went for. It is easier if you do a bare minimum room for your first room. You won't have to gather materials and auto lathe frames out like I did. But again, that was just what I wanted to do. So we have a battery charging. We're getting a base pretty much laid out here and welded together. So far, we're doing fairly well. So we still have some frames to weld. We have some iron to mine. We're going to be waiting for the daylight. Let's cut our helmet light off. And then I think we'll go ahead and put our tool belt back on our bar like that. So this power controller's battery is completely out. So what I'm going to do before we end the episode is I'm going to once again put the mining belt back on the backpack, and let's see, we're going to take this battery out here, which is a small battery anyways, and we're going to put this battery here, and then we're going to take this large battery, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put it up here in this power controller that is running off of the solar panel. Give it a large battery. Oh, I broke that wall again. All right, so that flashing means it's not actively charging right now. But we're going to build more iron frames. No, we need more. Oh, we do need a few iron frames. Okay, let's build a few. One, and let's just build one. And then we need iron sheets. There we go. This frame I know is going to need to go there. There we go. And we'll get as many iron sheets as we can with the battery power that we have. And hopefully try to at least get everything welded prior to next episode. Let's go ahead and clear that. Put our crowbar away, we'll get back out our welder, and we'll get back to welding. There we go. We don't want to burn our cables. There we are. Oh, at this point, I think, so it looks like one more frame there. One more frame and quite a few more sheets. Getting there. I'm not sure how much iron we have left is the thing. Okay, this won't let me move out. Okay, no, it will. So let's see, how much iron is left? 12 grams of iron. Well, we need at least one iron frame. And then the rest will be iron sheets, and this frame will go... Oof, we're going to need 2 frames. Hold on. Clear, clear. Oh, too much. Okay, well... So we don't have enough iron to get everything done that we wanted to get done. That's fine. That'll give us something to do next episode as we start to work on our priority, which is going to be getting an atmosphere. And in order to do that, we have to get this area sealed up, and then we have to work on the airlock, which is probably going to warrant an episode all to itself, as you can imagine, with a game like this that, by the developer's own admission, is not a casual game. You can imagine there's going to be quite a bit to getting your airlock set up, and it's a lot of fun though. And we're going to do that next episode. But this is where we're going to wrap things up. Almost got a fully enclosed structure. Not bad. A good bit of room to grow. You can see this small battery is charged. And so before we leave, we're actually going to put the small battery on and the large battery there to charge. And that's the end. So this has been Stationeers episode 1. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've had a good time watching, because as always, I have had a good time playing. Be sure to come back next time as we set up our airlock and get our base situated and demonstrate a little bit more about how to get the beginning of the game situated with the supplies that they give you on hand, because it can be a little daunting. And let me know in the comments down below if you're feeling this game and want to see more. But until next time, take care.